Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tutorial for this gorgeous necklace using the Arctic Aurora collection for Bargain Bead Box for January of 2026. If you're not familiar with them, it's a curated collection every month that they do. And it is $24.99 for a box. And they're usually between $60 and $90 for retail. So it's a great deal. And they have a little bit of everything. So, you know, aside from the jump rings, sometimes they add jump rings and all that, but aside from the jump rings and lobster clasp and stuff, everything else was from them. I also did use some little seed beads because I always like to add that little tidbit of color for me. They did give us some closures, some magnetic closures, but I didn't use them this month. So I have a coupon code BNJ2 for $2 off your first box with them. And I love the way this turned out. I think it's so pretty. So if you want to learn how to make this, then stay tuned. Okay, so I'm starting with this beading wire. If you want to screenshot it, it's from Abalone. It's the Brilliant, it's silver. And I have 22.5 inches of this. Then I have a lobster clasp. I had some crimp beads. These are my favorite crimp covers. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I love them because they close up and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. And then I have two jump rings. I have a smaller one and a bigger one. The smaller one I use with the lobster clasp and the bigger one I use for it to catch. So let's see. I'm using some of the Stardust Spacer beads. I'm using some of the Drizzy Agate beads. I'm using some of the Malaysia Jade English cut. I'm using some of the English cut faceted indigo AB beads. And I took out a couple of the Baroque beads in vitriol. And let's see. And I have some of these little spacer beads. I thought these were really cool too. So I'm using the gorgeous Abalone shell fancy oval pendant. And then, of course, you know me, I always have to add my seed bead. So I'm using an opaque rainbow. It says navy blue, but I see purple in there. Toho seed beads. It's an 11-0. So I'm just doing a little bit of this. Just a few of those. It kind of matches with these. And I see a teeny bit, when you kind of go like this, I see a little bit like right there of that purple. Okay, so now we're going to start. I have these little bead stoppers. So I'm going to start with these seed beads. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to kind of measure this because I just want it to be underneath there. I'm going to do one more. And that way, when I put this on, the wire will be covered. So here we go. So it'll kind of be, it'll be like that. So you can't really see it, but okay. So now I'm just going to start beading, and I just make sure that before I go to close it up, that there's no spaces. So I'm going to start with one of these gorgeous purple ones, the English cuts. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do one of these spacer beads. You can hear my crazy little new doggie. She is in love with her dad's office. And I'm going to do this over on this side. And yeah, I usually like to, let me move some of these up so I can bring this up a little more. I usually like to cover up the wire. I think it makes a piece of jewelry look a little more professional, you know. So I have that. So now I'm going to take a couple of these big beads right here. Put one right there. And I'm going to put one of these silver ones like that. I'm going to put a blue. I'm going to do another silver. And I'm going to do another one of these big ones like that. Close that up. And I'm going to go to the other side. And we're going to do like that. We're going to do the silver. And one of the blue ones. Another silver. And another one of these. And see how pretty that's looking? See, and that way, those little seed beads, they just kind of help to cover up that wire so the wire's not showing, but just, you got to make sure when you go to close this up that there's no spaces underneath there. That's the only thing you really need to worry about with that. Okay, so now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do the purple. I'm going to do another 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do a druzy, a silver ball, and another druzy. Like that. Okay. We have that, so now we're going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do the purple one. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And then a druzy. In case if you guys didn't know, if you didn't watch my last couple of videos, we rescued a little Westie. Her name is Piper, and she is the love of my life. Let me tell you, that dog, oh my God, she could do no wrong in my eyes. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this pattern out again. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Now one of the purples. And then 1, 2, where's it at? 2 and 3. Okay. So now we're going to go to this side. So I have that, and I'm going to do this again. 1, 2, 3. Let me know down in the comments if you get the bargain bead box or not. If you do, what you thought of it this month. It's really pretty. I've been so busy with my new baby girl. And she she goes nuts when I try and come in here and film. So I'm like, okay, there might be a little barking in the background. Okay, look how pretty that's looking. I'm going to put this up to my neck and see where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, that's looking really pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to get some more of these purple beads. 4. And I have 6 out. Okay. So now I'm going to do the silver. I'm going to do a blue, the purple seed bead, a blue, purple seed bead, and then another blue, like that. And then I'm going to do, I mean, you don't have to use the seed beads. I always like to add a little pop, no matter what it is. It's just kind of like me. Okay, so now we're going to do a silver, and we're going to do the blue seed bead, blue seed bead, and blue. And then we're going to do another silver. And this is looking so pretty. Okay, now I would like to get a couple more of these. Okay. So we're right there. So now I would like a couple more of those. I'm going to kind of bring that in like that. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get one of the shinier ones of these. So they're both kind of shiny. I'm going to do seed bead, one of those, another seed bead, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this side, because I have an idea to finish it out, but I want to make sure that we're at the right length before we go and do this. So then do another big one. Then I'm doing a seed bead, and then the other druzy. Some of the druzies aren't as shiny as the other one, so I wanted to do both of them being a little shiny. Okay, now I want to check this around my neck first. Okay, so it ends with the seed bead. So now I'm going to go, let me get that down there. I think I'm in with 1, 2, and then purple, and then 2 more. And that's how I want to end this one. So I like the way that looks there. Okay. So now we're going to do silver, silver, purple, silver, and one more silver. Love this. This is really pretty. Love the way this looks. Let me move these little ones out of the way here. Okay. So now, if you've never seen me close up a necklace, I do it a little different from other people. So this is the first side we're doing. So I take my crimp cover and I slide it on like that. Then I take my crimp bead And I put it down like about 1.5 inches. So there's plenty of room there, but this is the first side we're doing it on. I take my bent chain nose pliers and I smash it down, and I make sure that you don't turn it and open it up again. Then I take my crimp cover, and that is not going anywhere. It is really flat. Then I take, now I have the bigger crimp beads. So if you have the real tiny ones, this might not work because it might slide out, but it doesn't with this. So then I have that like that. And then I close that up like that. Then I have this little extra, and I just start feeding it through as much as I want. You know, if I have some real tiny beads here, then that won't work as much, you know, the tiny holes. But for these, and a lot of times I'll just do it until I cover the whole thing. Or sometimes I cut it. Just depends. So here is this. So now I pick this up and I bring this all the way down like that. So this side is done. And then I make sure I'm holding this up. I know it's kind of hard to see in the thing, but, and you make sure there's no holes right there where the piece is right there. Okay, and then I'm holding this up, and I take, let me get these out. Now, the next crimp cover, when you do it, you want it to go all the way down so it lands down there. And then you put your crimp bead on, and you want to make sure that that goes inside of the crimp cover. So I don't know if you can see that right there. Then I take my bent chain nose pliers, and there's no holes or anything, but you do want to make sure that this is kind of bent around because you don't want it to be so stiff that it doesn't move. And then I have my bent chain nose pliers. I'm holding onto the crimp bead, and I lift it up just a hair, and then I squeeze it. So you won't be able to see the wire when you're wearing the jewelry, but it just gives it that little extra bit of bend. And I'm pulling on it, nothing's happening. Then I feed this back in, and I go down as far as I kind of want to, and then it'll eventually pop out somewhere. Sometimes it just goes all the way down, but sometimes it doesn't. Let me see if it's... Okay, so now it's pretty far through. Here it comes. And then I pull on this. So it's sticking out there. Now you want to make sure that the crimp bead is flat there. So when you close that up, it doesn't reopen it, if that makes sense. So then I take this like this, and I take flush side down, and I cut that. And then I take my little, let's lay this down. So pretty. Now I'm going to take the smaller, one. And I like to use my round nose pliers a lot because I bend, you know, the stuff. Sometimes it just depends on what I'm doing. So then I'm going to do that. We have that side, And then we open it up. And we have this side. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Make sure when you close this up that there's no gaps in that jump ring. So I hope you enjoyed this necklace tutorial for the Arctic Aurora collection from Bargain Bead Box for January of 2026. And like I said, I have a coupon code BNJ2 for $2 off your first box with them. And I will leave a link below in the description along with a link to their website. And I'll leave links to all of my social media as well. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. I have lots of fun tutorials and videos coming up. And I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and even leave a comment. And I will see you on my next video, and you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.